If you look into this light at full throttle, full blast, you very well might go blind. I love receiving packages. Zhiyun just released what could be a really groundbreaking new light. They sent it to me for free to make a video about it, but if it sucks, I will still let you know. What do I look for in a key light? Well, obviously it's gotta be bright, that's number one.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
My current key light is 220 watts, which is fine for most small studio applications, up to like medium. But I have run into problems on some client shoots when I'm trying to shoot through multiple levels of diffusion, like the softbox and some muslin, and the max power on this 200, it just doesn't cut it. So I set up a bit of a test here. My 220 isn't bad, but it's still pretty underexposed. Let's see how the extra 80 watts on the Molus G300 fares against this sort of diffusion. That's a pretty big difference. I mean, it's an 80 watt difference. It's substantial. My current light is also locked at 5600 Kelvin, which is daylight, but the Molus is bicolor, which means that you can adjust it up and down the Kelvin scale to make the light warmer or cooler. This is great for making quick adjustments on set. I haven't tested this myself, but if you compare the G300 to the Aputure 300D, which is a much more expensive light and also fixed at 5600 Kelvin, the G300 outperforms it in pretty much every way. In the company's testing, it clocked 15,500 lux versus the Aputure's 11,000 lux. Now, I'm not smart enough to know exactly everything that this means, but I do know that it means it's brighter. It's undeniable that at 100% this light is bright, but it can go even brighter than that. The G300 comes with a max extreme mode, which pushes the light all the way to its limit, going from 300 watts to 500 watts, resulting in an increase of 60% in brightness. And trust me when I say this is no gimmick, it is actually very noticeable.
Oh my gosh, that max mode is insane.
There's two ways to turn it on. You can just toggle it by pressing a button in the app like that, or you can press and hold both of these buttons on the actual controller itself. The second thing I look for in a key light is a design that is portable, durable, and practical. Look at how small this thing is. I don't have the equivalent Aputure light on hand to give like a side-by-side comparison, but the difference is big.
11 by 8 by 13 inches. This thing is nowhere near that size. Much like the Aputure, the Molus comes with a separate power adapter and control box, which allows you to mount the light way up there and still control it manually from way down here. The manual controls are really simple. Left dial for the brightness, right dial for the color temperature. Hold them both down at the same time for max mode. A good portion of the G300 is actually made out of high quality plastic, which on first impression I was kind of let down by, but then I realized why they did this. So the plastic is actually a good thing, because I realized that even though I've been running this thing on 100% for quite a while now, I can still comfortably touch any bit of it and not get burnt. I mean, if this was metal, my hand would be frying right now. The important stuff is metal though. Of course, all the fans and the heat sinks, but also the cable connections and the hinges. All of that is metal. Anything that's going to receive, the brunt of the wear and tear. The mount is strong and it allows full rotation up and down, sideways. The levers also clamp really tightly, and I'm not at all worried about breaking them because it is solid metal. Of course, it has a standard Bowens mount for all of your soft boxes and stuff, and these cables are actually pretty dang long too, which is nice. You don't have to use as many stingers. Another key factor to LED lighting is fan noise, because in a studio, these mics can pick up practically anything. It's been 30 minutes at max power. This is what it sounds like. This thing is pretty dang quiet. I wonder what it'll sound like if I throw it into max mode. Yeah, that's a little bit noisier. Though you're really never gonna have a mic this close to the fixture when you're running it on max mode, because the fixture is gonna be far enough away that you need it to be this bright. It's definitely loud, but it's not an issue. It's never going to be a problem, at least for me.
In today's day and age, app control is pretty much a given on any high quality LED light. So I downloaded Zhiyun's control app and it worked well.
The app is actually pretty responsive. It's impressive. I mean, check that out. It's quick. It also uses Bluetooth to automatically detect any lights that are around, so linking it to this light was absolutely no issue.
Now, of course, the light isn't perfect, so let's talk about its downsides.
The G300 doesn't come with a carrying case, so unless you make some sort of custom one on your own, you're just going to have to reuse the box that it came in, which is a pretty sturdy box, and it does have a handle, but it's still cardboard and it's not going to last over a long period of time. The light is also definitely not waterproof. They don't include any information about this officially, but just taking a look at it, it is so open to allow for that heat to dissipate that I would be pretty concerned about using this even in light rain. This isn't something that was really expected. I'm not expecting waterproofing, especially in this price point, but it's important to know.
Speaking of price, the Molus G300 comes in at $599 US, which doesn't make it the cheapest 300 watt light out there, but it's also not the most expensive. That said, when you go more expensive, you get things like weatherproofing and all metal build quality, but if you go cheaper, you skimp out on things like build quality, app control, and brightness. None of the other options on the market right now compete with the G300 in size though, and just on that factor alone, the tiny proportions of this insanely powerful light, I think it is worth every penny.
This is a great key light, but you're also going to need some supplementary lighting to bring some color into your scene and to give yourself a hair light. You should check out this video where I go over and review my favorite budget options for LED tube lights, which is what I've been using in the background of my videos for quite a while.